Woohoo.
Hello, everyone. So,
Hi.
how are you? How are you?
Very good. Fantastic to see such a nice couple.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, for people who have not met us yet, my name is Sheila. This is my husband, Sam. I am an EA here in the Bay Area. My husband is an electrical engineer. Now, we love our jobs. We both work for great tech companies here in the Bay Area. But about 8 months ago, we found out that we're having a little bundle of joy. And that's when everything changed for us. And we decided, hey, you know what? It's not just the two of us anymore. We have a little one coming and we want to spend time with him. We don't want to miss any of those milestones. We don't want to miss any of those precious moments. So we really put our foot down. We did our research, and that's when we decided to start our own online business. And we actually came upon this opportunity, and we met an amazing group. And we have one of those amazing people, which happens to be our outstanding mentor, Najmeh, here with us today, who actually had so much success, and she's shown us so much. And so we would love to talk to you and have everyone hear how you've done everything.
Oh my goodness. Lots of pressure. Lots of pressure. Well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, hi to everyone that's watching us. This is Najmeh from Calgary, Canada. I have two little ones, so I totally get, your points and like your why, because that was my biggest why. When I started my own business, I was, having, my corporate job all the time. And then when I became mother, I said, you know what? I didn't bring my kid to this world to leave them with some other, people, with some strangers to raise them. I wanted to enjoy every second of them, all those little, crying and laughing and smiling and everything. And that's what, that was like 2.5 years ago when I decided to start my own online business. I was a financial advisor prior to that. And I was, doing my full-time job when I started the business. I was also pregnant, for my second one. And so it was crazy busy, but, I had a strong why. So you said, how did I, how did I do it? My why was, stronger than my fears. And that's how, it all happens. Everyone, start something, start a change for a reason. And my kids, they were my huge reasons, to look for something different.
Okay. Yeah, that's what that's where we're going. I don't want to leave this little one at all. I don't think I can after he's born.
Yeah, you know what? Like, these moments, they don't come back. It's just, it's once in a lifetime opportunity to be parent, and you want to enjoy all of it. And, what I found, with this opportunity, because it's so flexible and you can do it anytime. You can do it, from the comfort of your home. You can do it from the nursery. You can do it from the, playground, anywhere, it's doable. And that was like, the best thing for me, as like someone that was working full time, and then, I was on maternity leave. So I'm sure, you're gonna have, the same feeling when you go on your mat leave.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my brother the other day. He has his brick and mortar, or what we call it, offline business, and he's had it for past 7-8 years. And he was telling me, and he has a 6-year-old daughter. He was telling me he's willing to give up everything and go back and not lose any of those moments. So that's just another testament to what we wanted to do.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, you are in a great path.
Yeah.
And, so many people, especially in US, I was very fortunate in Canada to have 18 months of maternity leave.
Oh, you're
In
lucky.
US, yeah, in US it's very short. And so many people, they're looking for alternatives because, those employers, they don't, have mercy on anybody. If you can't do it, bye-bye, another person. Because to be honest, we're just a number to those, like, companies. If we're not there, they can find somebody else.
Absolutely.
But I think, our family, our health, and is the most important thing. And I'm so happy that you're both, decided to have, something as a side, and then you can, grow it. It's like, having a baby, because having a business, it's like having a baby. You have to put a lot of, time and love and passion to it to grow. And then, then you can enjoy, the the fruits.
Yeah, can't wait for that. As mentioned, we had a couple questions. You sort of answered the first one, which was what was your secret sauce in getting so successful in this business? And that was your why. Obviously, I think everyone who's looking for a business or a side hustle, they have a why.
Yep.
How strong that why is, that's debatable. But having given that why, what other factors are in there to make this a successful business?
You know what? I think, aside from the why and knowing like what you exactly want, it's your mindset. So when you have the right mindset, then, you will work hard to get where you want to be. And it's not easy to work on your mindset, because, I didn't have any business background when I started this business. I had no entrepreneur mindset when I started this business. I was always, living, paycheck to paycheck, and like, going to work, and like, trying to go up the, corporate ladder. But, having, that entrepreneur mindset was one of my challenges. When I always, tell these stories, when I was waking up in the middle of the night to breastfeed my son, I was listening to podcasts. So I was like, learning, as, I was just like, feeding my baby, not even like, wasting any minute, to work on the business, especially like, I was so busy, with a new one and a little toddler. It was crazy, but I had to do it, because I told myself I have no choice. This has to work, and I have to make it work, because I didn't want to go back to work. I wanted to give my notice, after my maternity leave. And so it was a lot of sacrifices, because when you have a little one, you're not really sleeping, your body is very weak. And, and then I have another one, like, that really needed my attention, and working full time. So like a lot of things, was happening at the same time. But as I said, my mind was just like, I was so hungry to a change.
Yeah.
And I was really wanted, this to happen, to just, take control of my, finances, and be able to just, be beside my kids and earn. And I wasn't like looking for $1,000, $2,000. I was looking for at least $5,000. So I can just, say, okay, I can help my husband, I can pay, the things that I have to pay, because I pay a lot of things, in that house. And we share a lot, with my husband. So I that was like my goal. And then, after my mat leave, was going to end, I sat down and I calculated, how much my income was for the business, because I had like 6 months without pay. I had like 1 year with employment income, and then 6 months without pay, to just like, test the water. And it worked, it worked. And it just like, it was way more than, what I was making as a full-time financial advisor. And then, yeah, decided to do that. But I think, yeah, having a right mindset was huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
Another
we
question?
pretty much were very skeptic at first. I mean, you hear that from people, that they're skeptic, they're scared, they're thinking, okay, this is an MLM. What do you tell people who are skeptic like that? Because we're watching you, we're working as well.
And people who have been burned before.
Yeah, what do you tell
So
them?
much like us. I was burnt by some of fake gurus. I signed up for a fake university that was supposed to teach me how to do Amazon FBA.
Yes, you did.
And I was burnt in the stock market too. The beginning of pandemic, where everyone was like, "Oh, go to stock market and you can make a lot of money," because everyone was at home and they didn't have anything better to do. So for people who had been burnt like that, or they're skeptic by nature and they think this is an MLM or scam or pyramid scheme, what would you say to those people?
Well, I was one of those. Actually, I was, as I said, I was so hungry to do something different. So when I saw this opportunity, I didn't wait a moment, because I just want to know what it is, because it was so so tempting. And so I watched the webinar. After watching the webinar, right away, I paid the 149 USD. I just told myself that I think I took my husband to, to have a steak dinner. And that's it. If I lose that 149 US, not a big deal. But I want to see what this is. And because, the lady that I saw, she was talking Farsi. So maybe that was a little bit more guaranteed that she's same country. So hopefully this is not a scam. So I went and I paid, the 149. And I remember, Sheila, I was pregnant maybe 3-4 months. I was just it was a Sunday afternoon. I was just laying down on a couch and I didn't move for maybe 5-6 hours, because that was the 90 minutes. And then I watched all those 8 videos for the pre-coaching, just laying there on the couch. And then I said, oh my God, okay, so go on. And it finished. And then I said, this is a huge scam. I want my money back. And I sent a message to my coach. And I said, what the heck you're talking about? Why you're misleading people? Why, what is this? This is a whole, huge scam that you're doing. So then I said, I want my money back. And she actually invited me to a Facebook group that all the people, business owners from all over the world, that they were, doing it. And I saw their incomes, oh my goodness, what is this? Is this a real, I saw all those crazy incomes, and I couldn't believe it. And then I had, same as you, I had some bad experiences in the past, from Iran, some pyramid scams. And I thought this is totally a pyramid scam. So I got my money back the first day. So whoever, think this is a scam, just come check it out. You're not going to lose anything, because you're going to get your money back. I got my money back the first day. So, but then, 2 weeks, I couldn't even sleep, because this opportunity was so, so amazing. So amazing. It wasn't a scam. After doing my research, I did my due diligence. I went and I checked, the coach that it was my coach, checked her LinkedIn, checked her resume, checked, the companies that they were working with them, checked, the founders of this, automated system. And then I found these are some genius people that they created this system, they created this business model, because the companies that we're working with them, they have very unique compensation plan. It's patented, no one else in the world has that. And that's why that we are using them. And it's not a scam. You get your, tax in US, you get W-9, you in Canada, you get T4A. Everywhere in the world that you're living, you get your tax documents, and you have to pay taxes. This is not, some people, they ask me, is this black or white? This is totally white business. You have to claim everything. You have to claim everything. And, it's not a pyramid, a scam. The bank that I was working, that was a pyramid scam. The word is a pyramid. I could never make more than my manager. My manager never, they never make more than district manager. But here I can make more than my coach. I can make, more than you are I'm your mentor. You can make more than me. So it's all based on your, effort and what you're doing and your direct selling, mostly direct selling. Okay. So this is not a scam. If you are even in a doubt, come check it out, because knowledge is power. If you don't have knowledge, just guessing, how can you even go forward? You're just stuck in one a place, because this opportunity is a gold mine. It's a combination between social media marketing and automated system and a very good compensation plan. So we have everything that a successful business needs to grow, and we've done it. It has been tested. It's proven. So many people are doing that. I can't believe sometimes the checks that I'm receiving. It's so many blessing that it brought to my life. I was able to quit my job. I was able to do things that I always wanted to do, and it's a no-brainer. So for anyone that is looking for a side hustle, they're they're burned out by this huge worldwide inflation. They're looking because if you like it or not, you're not going to get anywhere with just a 9 to 5 job. You have to have some extra income in order to build wealth, in order to live the life that you really deserve. So this is a very legitimate business. It's one of the best. I'm not saying it's the best and you have to do this. It's not for everybody, but check it out. Give your name and email address to Sam and Sheila. They're the best mentors, and you will receive emails from them, and then you go from there, and then we can talk. When you come to the 30 days trial, then you have you see the business model, you see everything with your eyes, then you can decide if this is for you or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did, just like you.
Yes.
I was so skeptical that the very first day I saw my now coach's video ad, I didn't believe a word she said and started following her. And that took me about 3 months of following her before pulling a trigger. And the trigger was, for me, during that 3 months, just every night, my prayer was to have God show me a path for the side hustle. And one morning I woke up and my now coach posted a video saying, what if this is 1% true? And what if this is your calling? And if it's your calling, you wouldn't want to miss it.
No.
And I'm like, I was just praying about this last night. And I was still, I got the link and I saw the 149. I was still skeptical about paying that.
You showed me.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And the next day, I got my gas and electricity bill during December.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Hilda.
Salam. Hello.
You're so cute. Oh, I know Najmeh. You're too
you gotta
busy.
go. You got your little one.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's too late right
So
now.
I'm gonna go and yes. Oh, I love you so much. I love you so much. Yeah.
Me and play with my puppy, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a little puppy. His name is Lilo.
Yeah, come play with our puppy.
His name is Leo.
Thank you so much, Najmeh.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
you're
much.
very welcome. It was so great seeing you, and thank you so much for watching us.
Was ours. Thank you.
Check this out. This might be for you. And Hilda, can you say bye? Please.
Oh,
Okay.
she's tired.
When we came back from camping, they're so tired. I've never seen them like that. They've been so tired.
Pass out, yeah.
And if you're lucky as me, you're going to get mentor and mama mentorship advice too. All right.
Well,
Well,
thank you so much. Yeah, you're very
Have a good night. Thank you, Najmeh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.